Talk with your host, Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Stray Talk.
Get every fucking chase back. Hey, no, I was trying to give you a chance to save money. When you say your money, no, I need you to be quiet. I'm gonna let you say something when I'm done. I said, when you got all the money that I tried to give you a break so that you could get you a cushion, you took the money and blew it up somebody's ass. I don't know whose
All right, she lives in 12B. Here we go. Let's see if she's ready. It sounds like they're arguing.
So, who is this person that we're meeting again?
Jackie, I told you about her. I just want to see how she's doing. You know, raising kids in this day and age requires a whole new strategy of parenting.
Oh, yeah. They are arguing. It sounds like it's coming from your friend's place. I remember you said she is having problems with one of, I guess, her oldest kids.
Yeah, but don't let on that you know anything. Actually, why don't we wait out front until whatever they have going on settles down?
I won't. Why would I say something? But anyway, I can understand the challenges of parenting. When I think of how much information can be obtained so quick and easily without any guidance these days, it's scary to think about. I mean, that's just keeping it 100.
You're right. Some things parents want to teach their kids themselves because getting information too fast about certain things at a youthful age can lead to kids making bad decisions. Parents can only control so much no matter how hard they try.
What about her husband? Does he help out?
He does, but he lives in a different state. They've been divorced for several years.
Oh, wow. That's so sad. So she must be like, feeling kind of lonely, frustrated, alone.
I guess. I don't know. Why do you say that?
I'm just saying, it's a single woman, trying to do her thing.
Boy, shut up. Just because a single woman has kids does not mean she is lonely and desperate. Have you ever considered that some single parents, women and men, are doing just fine without someone else?
Anyway, you know what? I think it's time I, told you the truth. Because I've actually been holding this in for some time now.
What truth? What is going on with you?
I mean, listen, I just need you to be open-minded and think about what I'm about to say to you.
Okay, say what you have to say because I am not sure what to expect right now.
All right. Now, you know how spending time together, kind of makes you see things in life in a way that kind of opens your eyes to look, this is what's right before you right now. You're missing out.
Yeah, I guess, but what are you trying to say?
Well, my feelings are real.
Angelique, I knew you were catching feelings.
No, it is not Angelique. Come on now.
Are you trying to say, wait, then who do you have feelings for then?
I'm just thinking about the laughter, the fun. It just all puts me at ease.
Reggie, please, listen. I don't know what to say, but I think...
I love my Xbox series. I thought I was a PlayStation man, but I realized I am an Xbox man now.
Boy, you don't know how close I was to calling you out your name in so many ways. I should have known it was going to be some foolishness.
What? How do you figure that? Wait,
Woo!
Why are you laughing?
Hold on, I had to catch my breath. Woo! Most men have feelings for a woman. You're so pathetic. I can't wait to tell Angelique that our friend is in a relationship with a video game.
Hey, if you played the game, you would love it. You would love it.
Really? A video game? I am a grown woman.
Oh, Melissa, I see. You know what? I think I was being a little inconsiderate. I see what's going on. You are jealous of the video game. Listen, I understand you being insecure because, one of your best friends has a, hobby that they love right now. And Oh my goodness, Melissa, it's okay. You're not going to lose my friendship.
Are you serious? How in the hell did you come to that conclusion?
It's all right. Look, stand right here. Hold on. Just stand right here. Hold your hands up, please.
Oh, Lord. Just get this over with.
Okay. Me and you must never part. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no ocean, ain't no sea. Hakuna Matata. Means no worries for the rest of our day.
Stop. Boy, stop this mess.
Hakuna Matata. Me and you must have one heart.
Oh, you want to play patty cake with a nursery rhyme? Well, let me share one with you. Okay, here we go. Melissa gonna jab Reggie just like Ali. Me and you are forever friends. Yes, we are. Keep talking crazy and I'll choke you out. Yes, I will. Like the movie Friday, people will say, Reggie got choked the hell out.
Okay, that was not even a patty cake song. And why it didn't even rhyme. Why you gotta be so mean all the time?
Hey, Simply Straight Talk family. Welcome to the Simply Straight Talk Show, where every topic is a hot topic, and hot topics are all about that real talk. Now here's your host, Reggie.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. Listen, this is episode 16, the last episode for season 8. Then we're going to take a short little break and we'll be coming right back, okay, for season 9. And we got some more great topics, some more great discussions, and also, you know what? Angelique and Melissa going to get their time to shine, all right? They trying to do their own thing. So what we're going to do is they're going to have the comedy skits. The skits you hear at the beginning of each show. Angelique and Melissa gonna do their thing. Are they gonna let me be a part of it? Don't y'all think I should be a part of it? But you know what? We're gonna have that discussion a little later, because today we're gonna talk about parenting in 2020 and going forward. Now, I think this is a very relevant discussion that needs to be had. Now, I know when it comes to parenting, a lot of parents do not want anybody in their business. They don't want people telling them how to parent. They don't want people saying nothing to their kids. They basically just want you to say, listen, this is my family, my business. You mind yours, I'll mind mine. Now, with that being said, there are some things that we do need to kind of talk about when it comes to parenting. So you as a parent may agree with this, or you may not. Or you may know somebody who is a parent and say, you know what? They need to hear this, because what you're saying is directly towards them. But we want to talk about it in a way to kind of help parents, because when we think about parenting, we cannot parent the same way, we were parenting kids in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s. We can't even really start parenting kids the way we were doing it in the early 90s, because this is a new day and age. Now, although we got the same people, most of the same parenting principles do still apply. There have been some things that have changed that kind of present some challenges for parents. Some parents acknowledge these changes, but they're not quite sure how to deal with it. Some parents feel it's okay, and some parents feel like, I'm trying to do something, but I'm not quite sure what. So what we want to do in this show is kind of talk about some things that parents have to face now, especially when you're dealing with young kids. And we want to kind of go over some of those things. We want to talk about why some of these things really do affect your child. They affect your parental, parenting styles. So we want to talk about that. We want to kind of get an idea of where you are and where you could possibly improve and how you can help your child. Because some children are doing things because they need help. They need guidance. And some of us are just kind of taking a step back. But we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. Now, as we get into this show, I think we need to identify some parenting. We need to identify some reasons that parenting requires new strategies in 2020 and going forward. We need to kind of identify, why do you say that? Why do you say parenting needs to be new parenting strategies? I always do that in an episode. I always do that in the beginning. I get my flow together. But why do parents need to adjust their parenting styles in 2020? What's the difference? Now, some of the things are probably going to be obvious. Some of the things you're probably not going to see as a problem. But then after I kind of explain a little bit, you may say, I might need to pay attention to that. And some parents are probably going to say, I'm already on top of it. But, I really want to know your thoughts about this. So please drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know anything you think I missed that should have been added. Okay? Because we can do a follow-up. All right? But I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. So when we talk about some of the reasons that parenting styles are going to require changing and new strategies in 2020 and going forward, we got to start off with technology. We have to start with technology because now some of the younger generation is not going to understand this, but the older generation, people in their 40s and up, are going to understand when I say that technology has made kids able to obtain information faster than most parents are sharing with their kids or educating or talking to their kids about. Right now, kids have access to everything. Whereas when I was coming up, you didn't really have access to a lot of sexual content unless you found a magazine laying around. There was no simply log onto a computer and all of a sudden, boom, there it was. It wasn't cell phones where you can access it through your cell phone. It was difficult. And most of the TV shows that show anything like that, they came on well after your bedtime, which would be like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And when I was coming up, HBO was probably the only station where a person could find that type of stuff. But it came on so late that it was very difficult to stay up and watch because your parents would put you to bed. So with technology making things so accessible right now, and you can put as many parental restrictions on some of the devices that they have. These kids are so smart. If they can't figure it out, they got friends at school that can figure it out. So they have access to so much information. And a lot of parents feel like, it's not time to have that talk yet. But we may have to consider having these talks at a much younger age with our kids than we probably naturally would have done. I think when I was coming up, it wasn't until you was like in your teens, when you started at around 14, 15 or 16, mainly 16, is when parents start looking at having that talk. But today, you got to start prior to preteen in having these discussions because they have access to so much. Another reason that, you got to adjust your parenting styles right now is troubled times. We have racial tension, which is all over the media, all over the news. It's present in schools. It's everywhere. We got racial tensions coming from the alleged president of this country. We got sexuality that is in question because what was once considered the norm for sexuality for couples has changed. Most people grew up thinking or, being brought up in a home to where mother, father. And now you have mother, father, father. So, it's a difference now. It is a difference. Kids are now being, taught about transgenders and cross-dressing and, so there's a whole nother world that they're being introduced to. And some kids don't know how to take it. Some kids don't quite understand it. And they're only learning this from, whatever they see on TV or maybe on the streets. So this information is readily available to them, especially through technology. And also in these times, we're seeing a lot of exaggerated and negative ideologies of success and lifestyles. And this is what's influencing them. This is what's teaching them of adulthood, of how adulthood is supposed to be. And with that being said, a lot of kids are buying into that. So with the troubled times, the racial tension, the sexuality issues, the exaggerated and negative ideologies of success and lifestyles, all of this is a lot. It's a lot for a young person to take in. So if that information is not being guided correctly, you're going to have a confused child and probably taking the world in a negative way of what it means to reach their goals. Next, hip hop and acting and athletes. I think this is one of the things that a lot of our young people are saying, if I'm going to be successful in life, I have to be a part of the hip hop culture. I have to be an actor. I have to be a professional athlete. They are seeing this as the quickest way to be rich and famous because that's what is being portrayed right now. And when you look at a lot of the reality TV shows, the more vulgar, the more louder, the more sexual, the more disrespectful you are, then the more successful you are because that's what is being portrayed to them. And hip hop, at one point, yes, even when I came up, we had the Ghetto Boys, we had NWA, we had the 2 Live Crew, but we had more positive influences in hip hop than we did groups like NWA. We had Public Enemy, we had MC Hammer, LL Cool J, Kool Moe Dee, KRS-One. So we had groups like that although they may have put out music that may have had 1 or 2 curse words, they also put out stuff that was positive. So there was a kind of a balance to what was going on. But in today's culture of hip hop, we're getting more sexual, more vulgar, more profane, more sexual explicit. So this is what our kids are seeing. And when it comes to movies and TV shows, especially, like I said, reality TV shows and actors, the more crazy you are, the more, out there you get, the more successful you're going to be. That's how things are portrayed. And they see this as the only tangible way to obtain success is to make it in hip hop, sports, or the acting field. So that's another thing that we have to consider. What are we allowing our kids to really reach for or see as the ultimate goal as parents? So as parents, these are the things we need to be concerned of. Me as a child, just to share a little personal story, when I was coming up, I think one of the things about my childhood that I did not like was the fact that, my lack of exposure to career opportunities and community options. I was raised in a single mother home. My father was non-existent. I never heard from him. There was no help. So I have to give my mother credit, because when she was alive, she did what she could. And I'm not saying that she was perfect. It was just that she was a single mother with a boy and 2 girls, and she had to raise us pretty much by ourselves. She had the help of my grandmother who stepped in and helped out as much as she could. But my mother never really exposed me to things that could have gave me other options in life. Now, I never turned to a life of crime or anything like that. But I do feel like if I would have been exposed to, other programs like career-related programs, but I was never exposed to that. She never really pushed that on me. And we didn't have that in our family to where the kids were really told, listen, go take a photography class, or let's learn photography, or let's learn about cars. Let's learn about this. Let's learn about that. So that lack of exposure, or no one like kind of taking you and saying, hey, why don't you go down here and sort of learn about this, learn about business, learn about, makeup, learn about cutting hair, learn about fixing, like I said, learning basically like different trades, or actually interning at different places or volunteering at different places to kind of get an idea of what options there are in the world. And I think for me, I have the same story that a lot of young kids are having now. They're not being exposed to anything outside of TV, we only had TV, but they have more things as far as social media and TV that they can be exposed to. Whereas we didn't have all that, but we didn't have that. I'm speaking for me personally. I didn't have that parental guidance to sort of push me out there to say, listen, I want you to go and work with this person. He's going to help you to kind of see what it's like to work in this field or that field. And I think because a lot of us are letting our children go without that exposure, they're just simply clinging on to the closest thing that they find relevant or relatable, not knowing that there's so much more of their creative side that's not being used, that's going to waste. You know, as parents, it really is hard. And I understand as a single father, a single mother, you're trying to raise your kids, you're trying to work. Some parents say, I just don't have time to run my kids around to these different events, these different venues. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm trying to go back to school. I just don't have time to do it. And I get it. But we want to talk about that because we have to find ways to expose our kids to other things. We have to find a way to make sure that technology and these troubled times don't keep our kids stuck in one branch of life to where they're not getting the guidance, they're not being exposed to things that could really push them in a more positive direction. And trust me, I get it. I was raised by a single mother, like I said. And one of the biggest things about my life that I felt would have helped me out more and maybe kind of helped me to advance a lot sooner in life was being exposed to more entrepreneurs, more networking things, like some young leader programs. But we're going to talk about all that when we come back because I'm not here to bash parents. I'm here to help parents understand that there are things you can do right now to help your child. And we want to talk about that, how exposing your child to different things can make a difference and things you can do that not only will make you a better parent, but it will make your child more prepared when they get to college and have to make that decision of what they want to do. We'll be right back with more of the Simply Straight Talk Show.
You're listening to Simply Straight Talk.
RM Viaging is a company based on life's journey and sharing life lessons with the world in the form of laughter and reflection. Inspiring people to go after their dreams and not giving up on life. RM Viaging creates inspirational music and motivational speeches designed to motivate all age groups. Visit our website at www.rmviaging.com to hear samples of our music. You will also find motivational articles on our blog page titled New Life, New Mind Blog. We also have a weekly podcast hosted by Reggie called Simply Straight Talk, all on our website at www.rmviaging.com.
We hope you're enjoying the show. As our listeners, this show is made possible because of your support. Make sure you click the subscribe button and leave a comment. Thank you for being a part of the show, and now back to your host, Reggie Maddox.
All right, everybody, we're back with the second part of the show, and today we're talking about parenting styles in 2020 and why your parenting style or your strategy has to change. When I left off in the first part of the show, I was talking about how a lot of kids we have now, they get into college and they end up going for degrees that after 4 or 6 years of college, they're not even using. Most of these kids realize this is not what I even want to do. So as a parent, some parents may feel like, wow, I spent all of this money to send you to college and you don't even want to use the degree you got. And a lot of this is because we're not exposing our kids to more opportunities. We're relying on the school system to do that. And that's really not what they're supposed to do. And they're not going to do it. And I don't think you want the school system, which is ran by the government, whether it's local, federal, or whatever, to determine what your child is exposed to in regards to what career path they want to take. And most schools, they really don't care. You get a passing grade, what you do when you leave, that's on you. So we do have to take some accountability as far as what are we exposing our kids to. And I told you, I came from a single parent home. I was raised by my mother alone, me and my two sisters. So we didn't have that exposure that maybe some kids or other kids did. Now, the thing I want to talk about, when I talk about exposure, I'm talking about giving our kids alternatives. I'm talking about even if they volunteer at a youth program, a youth center, a rec center, they volunteer with the YMCA, they volunteer with corporations so they get an understanding of real world outside of TV, outside of social media. And like I was saying earlier, keep in mind, we have to start early. We have to start early because, as I said, today's kids are exposed to so much, so fast. We don't have the luxury to kind of sit back. Before, you just had to hope that another person didn't tell your child something that you didn't want them to know or learn too fast. Well, now you don't have to worry about people telling them because they have technology that's going to reveal anything or everything they want with no filter and no real guidelines for what exactly they're being shown or or what they're reading. So that's why I say expose your kids to more things as possible. A lot of people, when they think about the entertainment industry, they're simply looking at hip hop. They're looking at acting. If you are looking at those venues, how about exposing your child to the performing arts? Victory Brinker is an 8-year-old girl. She speaks 6 languages, an amazing opera singer. And to my, young black men and women, think about this. The performing arts is a field that we are not really represented in. There is so few of us in that field. But yet we have had some prominent, and very distinguished people in the performing arts. So I would suggest look at getting your kids involved in the performing arts. If your child likes to sing, musical theater, because now you're opening another door to where they see that there's another lifestyle to entertainment outside of hip hop, outside of rap videos. You know what I'm saying? Outside of all the sexual things. They can perform musicals. They can perform in the performing arts, Broadway. So there's things that they can do that will help them culturally to understand that there's another side to entertainment. Museums. A lot of times we don't really take our kids to museums so they can really understand different cultures, to really help them to embrace things. You might have a child that might be a great archaeologist, a child that could be a great historian. Some kids thirst for that knowledge, but we don't expose them to it. Because ultimately, my next point is you have to counter the negative, influential mainstream media. Now, I'm not attacking mainstream. I understand mainstream media is about making money. So whatever they put out and that's going to generate revenue, that's what they're going to put out. But I'm saying that you don't have to allow that to be the only thing your child receives. See, you must provide something that shows the other side of family life and relationships outside of what they see on TV and social media. And I say this because you will be surprised how many kids are left with the mindset that reality TV shows is the normal functions for relationships. They really believe that. They believe that the housewife shows that a mother and father is supposed to have all that drama. Friends are supposed to have all that drama, all that fighting, all that bickering, and because, they are exposed to that and they don't have anything to counter that, they make dysfunction the normal. And we have to be mindful about that. The things you let your child do, the things you let your child see, you gotta be mindful of what they're watching, and you have to provide something that's counter positive, something that shows them, no, that's TV, that's media. Let me show you reality. It's either how you have things in your household, or you take them to functions, you take them to environments that's going to expose them to the opposite. So they see that dysfunction is not a normal thing. Arguing, yelling, throwing, vulgar language, sexual poses, and sexual dances is not the normal way of life. And that's what a lot of them have come to believe. Even when you watch the politicians on TV, you're seeing name calling, bullying. They're seeing this as the norm. You have to expose your children to something that's counter positive, that's going to counter the negative, that's going to show them that there's a positive way. Because if they keep adopting all those negative influences, that's going to become them. They're going to become that person. And you're going to say, that's not my child. And you're absolutely right. Biologically, it's your child. But parenting-wise, it is social media's child. Your child has become a product of the environment they have been allowed to take in. And mentally, they have connected more with what they see on TV, what they hear in music, than what they're actually seeing from you as a parent. Now, I'm not saying you're a bad parent. Like I said, I understand. Sometimes parents just got so much on their plate, especially single parents. Now, for parents with a man and woman in the household, you can work it out. It's two of you. And sometimes single parents don't have family members they can rely on. They got to do it all themselves. So you got to figure out a way. You got to look for things in your community. Look for programs that are cost effective to you, that your child can be a part of. There are some programs. Matter of fact, I'm going to start researching some of them, and I'm going to post it on my website. So I want people to know about these programs. If they need, I'm going to try to do some for each state. And one of the last things I want to say is love your kids, but be careful of making your kids your bestie or your homeboy or homegirl. And I see this a lot in single parent homes, to where the mother or father has made the kid like their little ride or die. You know what I'm saying? So when the kid leaves the house, it's almost like they feel lost. And this will create problems in your relationship, especially when they come to the realization that you're mom or you're just dad. Or worst case scenario, you're just a cool person that's relatable. So when you try to give them parenting advice, it doesn't count for anything, because they're not really seeing you as a parent. They're seeing you more as an elderly colleague. And sometimes I know that when single parents are together, or when single parents are with their kids, they form a bond, and sometimes that bond can become more of a friend thing and less of a parenting thing. And it does play a part in the relationship. And it makes it harder because the kid is going to move on. When they get older and they're on their own, yes, they're going to want to see you, say hey to you, hang out with you for a little bit, but they are not going to want you to be their ride or die. They are not going to want you to be the one they hang out with. When they get to the point where they get old enough, they don't want their 50 and 60-year-old moms and dads hanging out with them when they're with their friends. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful about that. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you just have to be mindful of the fact that you're a parent. And as a parent, you want to keep your child in the mindset of, I love you, I'm here for you, but when I give you advice, I want it to be received as parental advice that's going to help you, because it's for your benefit and not just advice from somebody that seems okay or a friend. And like I said, a lot of times that's what happens. That's what happens. So it's tough. I understand it's tough. I can speak from a parent from two perspectives. An actual father raising a child to a father who had to deal with the loss of a child. And from my parenthood, from my childhood, dealing with the fact that there are some things that I was not exposed to. So I tried to be more of that with my child. But it's a tough situation when you're a parent and you want to do so much for your child. You want to give so much to your child. But we just have to understand that your parenting strategy has to change. You cannot raise a child the way your parents or your grandparents raised you, because they are accessible to so much more. They're learning things so much faster. So you can't really sit back and just say, I'll tell them in a year or two, or wait till they get 15 or 16. You're going to have to start having talks with your kids much, much sooner. Hey, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more of the Simply Straight Talk Show.
You're listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show, bringing you the best conversation on your morning, afternoon, and primetime drive.
Hey, are you looking for some great music, upbeat and with a positive voice? Well, the song I Stand With You is exactly what you need. This timeless song has a pop version sung by Audrey Carmel. And a reggae version sung by General Steele, now known as Revelation.
Now I know some days you may feel blue, Lord. Trust in your greatness to see you through.
These songs are now available on iTunes and other digital platforms for download. Don't miss out. Get your copy today.
Give life your best, and I know.
We're back with the conversation starter and the voice that works harder. Your host, Reggie.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the final thoughts of today's show. Now, today we talked about parenting styles must change in 2020 and going forward. Now, I don't want to sound like parents out there are not doing their job. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing today's parents. I just want everybody to understand that this is a different time. It's a different day and age. And I know we all get caught up in the hustle and bustle of trying to, make sure our kids got health care, make sure our kids getting their education, make sure that we're paying the bills, there's food on the table. I understand, there's single parent homes, there's dual family homes. And I understand when you got both parents, it's not the same as having one parent. And for some people, both parents is like having one parent, but the thing about it is, as parents, it is important to understand and keep up with the changes in time. In doing so, you are understanding that conversations are going to have to be had much sooner. Your child's mind is being filled with information much faster than when we came up. So not only are you going to have to be patient, but you're going to have to be understanding, and you're going to have to be aware of what your child is receiving. Now, I know I posted a post about cuties, and so many people were saying, oh, the parents need to be more responsible. The parents need to do this. Listen, today's kids, like I said, have access to so much. It's impossible for a parent to know every single thing their child is being exposed to. It's impossible. But one thing we can do as parents, as you can do as a parent, is try to find alternatives that can limit the time they have to really be exposed to some of those other things out there that's negative. So much TV, so many reality shows, things that will give them a false perception that of what is the norm. And like I said, so many things on social media today are creating the mindset that dysfunction is the normality for relationships. And that's not true. So as parents, we have to work to make sure that we are aware of creating positive influences, creating counters to those negative things, positive counter environments, positive positive relationships. We have to create a way for our kids to be able to understand that there are alternatives, that every child is not meant to be a hip hop, a football, a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Every child is not meant to be an actor. Many of these young people have so many great gifts inside of them that they can actually contribute to making this world better. We got enough music. We got enough songs. We got enough actors. We got enough movies. Now we need progressive youth who are willing to take in and learn and be exposed to new adventures and new careers that's going to push the generation, people, and this world as a whole into a more positive direction. That's why the more we expose them to things outside of what mainstream media is exposing them to, the better chance we have that your child may be the one to lead us into a brighter future. Hey, thank you for checking in with us today, man. Like I said, this is the last show for season 8. We'll be back in about 2 weeks with season 9, and you're going to be dropping some surprise things out there for you. So do stay with us. I will be keeping in touch with you. Hey, click on the links, man. Leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. And also check me out on Instagram, man. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I'm always posting stuff. You're going to get a lot of information there, much quicker, much faster. I interact with everybody. Leave a comment. I make a personal video responding to your comment, and I don't even charge. So, but hey, I do it because I love hearing people's feedback, man. Good or bad. I want to hear your feedback. Thank y'all for being so supportive. Columbia, Ohio, I see you. You know what I'm saying? Virginia, I see you. North Carolina, I see you. Canada, I see you. All right. Philippines, I see you. Australia, I see you. You know what I'm saying? Much respect. Cali, I see you. To my man Mike out there in San Francisco, much respect, my brother. The man offers good guitar lessons. Check out my Instagram. Make sure y'all follow Mike. Tone G Music, who's been down from the beginning. I see you, bro. I appreciate all the positive vibes and everything you do. Nayeli Abrego, thank you for all that you do. You know what I'm saying? I love your show, The Crossover. Appreciate you. Renee Armstrong, Les Concierge Services in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, thank you. Always been a great person, man. Much respect to you. And like I said, I cannot forget Angelique. I cannot forget Melissa, the two beautiful ladies you hear in the top of the show. We always do the intros together. I got some stuff coming from them. So y'all keep sticking with us, man. To my man Z-Lot on Fiverr, always hooking me up with the great edits of the podcast, man. He edits all of my audio for every podcast. He does a great job. So everybody, man, much respect. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the love. But like I said, the show has really been moving. So I definitely want to say thank you. Also, India, I see you. Much love, much respect. I appreciate that. And like I said, Columbia, Ohio in general. Hey, appreciate the love, man. Much respect. I'll be seeing y'all. Hey, don't forget, we're still going to have dropping something for you on Friday. So y'all make sure y'all check it out. Peace. Love y'all.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show with Reggie Maddox. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Be sure to check out our archive section on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and YouTube. Join us next time for another edition of the Simply Straight Talk Show.